And welcome to another week of The Take. I'm here tonight with my special guest, Sean Malone, and he's one of Wallingford's favorite athletes and favorite guys. You know, I just met Sean a long time ago, went down to Malone's gym, got a chance to meet a professional boxer, which was really awesome because Sean's a very humble professional athlete. He's not one of these guys nowadays that's all about me. You know, he took some time with me. His dad took some time with me. His dad actually told me to come back in, and he trained me for a couple of days, and you know,
right.
It was a lot of fun with your dad. And you know, speaking of which, your dad is a Hall of Famer in boxing.
That's right.
Yeah,
Connecticut Hall of Famer.
Connecticut Hall of Fame. He was a great guy. One of the you know, staples in boxing in Connecticut. You know, I think that you guys have,
and all around the world. He was very big in boxing.
Yeah, I mean all that, but you think of just around this area, oh my God, you know, you just hear it's always the Malone gym, gym. You know, it was like, you know, you had Silver City up there, yeah, but everybody wanted to get to Malone's gym because you guys had the gym right outside your house. And
that's right.
And I remember seeing you down in North Haven. It was my first fight going down to the well, now I think it's the Holiday Inn down there or whatever, but I think it was Ramada back then. Yeah, promoted your own shows, and you won the title that night.
I think it was. No, that was at the Oakdale. We won the title.
Is that the title at the Oakdale? Then the Oakdale. Yeah, you won the title at the Oakdale. I saw you at the Ramada. I remember that one.
Right.
And I saw you at the Oakdale. So
a lot of good times at the Ramada.
Yeah, I remember you beat that guy in like 3 rounds or something like that.
Yeah, well, a few of them didn't go that long.
And I remember watching you were on ESPN a couple times. Had some big fights on
USA, HBO.
All over there. So this is our one of our homegrown Wallingford guys right here that, you know, has done really well for himself, and you know, you're kind of continuing the Malone legacy in boxing, and now you're training, and you're gonna hopefully get into promoting some fights, right, coming up.
Yeah, we're in the works right now of might be doing a show, a professional show in Hamden at the CFC indoor soccer arena, and you know, I've talked to the people there, and I'm just a matter of getting together with my people and getting the ball rolling. But you know, right now we're training one of my fighters, David Wilson, for September 20th at Foxwoods Resort and Casino. So when, you know, hopefully we'll have time to in between that to get the ball rolling on this show.
Worked up for the show going down there. Now, we talked before, I know you and I both spoke, I mean, we're both boxing guys to begin with, but, you know, with the MMA, has that really cut into boxing so much as far as fans, or do you think that, you know, that really hasn't done too much damage?
No, you know, boxing will always stand alone, and, you know, they're two different animals. You know, MMA is, if you put a boxer in the ring with an MMA guy will destroy him all day long.
Right.
But you put an MMA guy in a boxing ring, a boxer will destroy him all day long. So they're two different animals as far as I see it.
Right.
I don't, you know, I like the MMA, but I'm not like a super fan like a lot of people are. You know, I got respect for the sport, but I'd rather stand up and knuckle up any day of the week than.
We said that before. We were like, you know, when's MMA? When they start cheering, it's when they get up on their feet.
That's
and,
right.
You know, instead of sitting there rolling on the ground.
Yeah.
It's always when somebody gets in somebody in an arm bar or you know,
choke
like
out.
that's
something good.
Like that.
But when they stand up, and fight, that's when the crowd is, you know, they want to, you know, see that knockout.
That's what I like about boxing is because, you know, you could be, you know, almost punch drunk or, you know, just lose your wind for a couple minutes, and you have to find a way to win, whether it's use your legs or, you know, how would you counter that if you know, you all of a sudden, you know, maybe a guy hits you or something? Did you go back against the ropes, or how do you counter that, or how did you do it?
You mean if you get hurt? If a fighter gets hurt, a puncher always has a punching chance. So if you get hurt or dazed or you lose your wind or something, you can low a guy in, you know, work your way off the rope and, you know, come off with a combination and hope to catch him. You know, there's all different tricks. You know, the MMA guys, too, have their tricks, too. So, you know, it's all a matter of the smartness of the fighter.
Now, how do you see, I know when Don King was, he's still part of boxing, not as much as he used to be, but, you know, everybody said it was kind of a corrupt portion of boxing. Do you see that kind of going by the, you know, a different direction now at boxing? Or you still think there's...
boxing is a street man sport, so, you know, it's as backyard as you can get. I mean, you have the big money guys, and you have the smaller guys that are working their way up in the game, but, you know, boxing is boxing. Yeah. You know, it's going to be, and it's never going to change.
Now, that's what it's not really a lot of huge names anymore. I remember back in the 80s, you know, you had your Sugar Ray Leonards, and you had your Roberto Durans, and you had your Haglers. It just seemed like there was more better.
Each division had more of a quality fighters, but they're there. It's just now the fight fan, to me, is more or less doesn't want to watch an up-and-coming fighter. They just want to see the big-time fighters. You know, once every other month, you might see a big-name fighter. You know, you got Mayweather coming back up, and you'll never see another Mayweather. I don't care what anybody tells me. You'll never see another fighter like Mayweather. He's unbelievable, unstoppable, and he's his own boss. He's his own money man. Does it all on his own, and I give him a lot of respect for that.
Yeah. Now, we were talking before the show, and you were saying how you also wanted to try to maybe get an amateur show in Wallingford.
Oh, I'd love to do a show in Wallingford. It's just a matter of getting a spot and you know, get the local talent to be seen, you know, locally.
Right.
You know, because you're not going to get a TV show. TV's, you know, ESPN's not going to come in and do an amateur show. So why not move the venues around the state and get these, you know, these local kids to be seen.
Give them a spotlight.
So, yeah, get them a spotlight, and you know, hopefully get them some sponsors where they can travel to different national tournaments, and you know, see what's going on in the fight game outside of the state instead of just being in the state where you travel through New England and all. Yeah, but you know, let's go down to Colorado. Let's go to Vegas. Let's go down to Florida. You know, Michigan, wherever. You know, we'll see what your worth is bouncing around the country, as long as we can get some sponsors that'll help these kids out.
Right. Because I remember back in the day, it was always the Sean Malone articles, you know, whether you were running the 5K in the town just for the fun of it, or you were just knocking somebody out in the third round or something like that. But, I mean, it always seemed like you got a lot of promotion, and, you know, it was great because you were a local kid. And, you know, you don't see too many fighters other than, like you say, the big fights now. You know, once in a while you'll hear of Silver City doing a show somewhere in Massachusetts, or they might bring some couple kids up to the gloves or something like that. But other than that fact, you don't see, you know, a lot of these names. You're not really following kids. Like people used to follow you because, you know, hey, Sean Malone, one, because you're a Wallingford guy, but two, is because you're in the paper a lot. And it was easy to follow you. You know, hey, he's going to be fighting in an ESPN tonight at 8 o'clock or something like that, whereas you don't really see that with the kids nowadays. It doesn't seem like they're, like you say, they're not giving them that spotlight, that, you know, kind of little pedestal to kind of step on now, you know, just like,
you know, the thing I from what I see, it's you know, your reporter, the press guys, you know, they're bouncing around. One day they're there, you're talking to these guys, and the next day you go to look for them, you know, they've moved on to another part of the building, like, you know, other part of the paper, I should say. Right. And that could be part of it, or it's just, you know, a lot of people don't want to put that extra effort in putting that kid's name out there. You know, a lot of people do it on Facebook or tweets or all these things, but still, you still want to grab a paper, open up the sports page, and read about somebody. To me, that's how I like it. I'm old school. I'd rather...
That's exactly.
I'd rather look
I agree
at a
with
paper.
you there too. I think I'd rather have the paper. And I know when, you know, my son, everybody says, "Oh, what's the article online or whatever?" I go down and grab the paper because I think it's so much better.
Sure.
And, you know, you got
it's
that
like,
hard
hey, you
copy
made
right
the paper.
There. Yeah, exactly.
You're
it's
in the paper.
cool.
Look at that. I mean, it was big time when I was in the paper. You know, all of a sudden, oh, look at that, my name's in the paper. You know, I'm not on the third page of the sports page or the second page. I'm on the front page of the paper. Yeah, and it's like, wow. You know, then it became the front page if sometimes the Record Journal or the Register, or even USA Today had me on the front page before, and I was like, wow, man, you know, this is great.
You made it. At that point, you said, wow, I made it.
Fighting in Vegas, and I'm like, look at me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just a kid that just runs around Wallingford half the time.
That's what was, like, you know, really, you know, the great part of that was, like I said, going down to the gym and meeting you, you know, for the first time, and just coming over and being like, hey, you know, it was just like we were best friends for a long time. You know, it was like, wow, that was pretty cool. And like I said, now I always, you know, on Facebook, I see fight news coming. It's pretty cool, but
I'm very quiet on there. But every time I have something come up, I'll throw it out there and see what, you know, people latch onto it. If they, you know, want to do something that night, come on out.
But I tell you one thing, and you know, you've gotten me tickets before to the fights up in Mohegan or wherever we are. You know, the fight game is it's a fun night. It's a fun night to go out there and have. One, you get the you know, the part of the boxing, but the boxers always came out and they autograph for a bunch of kids, and they're like fan friendly, and it's a great time. You know, to go back up there, and yeah, I got to see your dad the last time too. You know,
it was the last time my father and I worked the corner together.
Yeah.
So
it was, you know, that was, you know, just a great guy. I know that it was funny because you see the fire in your dad too, because you guys went on later than you were supposed to. And, you know, to come see your dad, and you know, he gave me a little wink, but he was, you know, you could tell he was kind of, you know, heated, but he gave me that wink and went in and
finally,
and you guys, you know, you got out there
had
and
to go his way.
Yeah, no, but it was great. It's great to see him out there, you know, and at least I got to take that. That was a great night, and like I said, it's a great time for your family and everything. It's a great venue and a great show for you know, any kind of sporting event. I know people say NASCAR is good because the guys are friendly and they're, you know, they're out there autographing for the kids and meeting kids and taking pictures, and you get that same type of atmosphere which you don't get in the other pro sports. You don't get that in an NFL or you know, a baseball game. Yeah, you get a guy here or two there.
Yeah, you'll get one or two that are personable, and you know, I don't understand it. I mean, people are paying money to come see you fight or play ball or play football. How hard is it to sign an autograph for a kid? I mean, I know you do get the people that are looking to sell your autograph.
Right.
You know, as soon as you sign it, they pull out another piece of paper. Oh, can you sign this too? Meanwhile, they got like 10 sheets of the same picture. Can you sign all these? These are all for my nieces and nephews. No, they're not.
Yeah.
You know, but if you got a kid and his father standing there and he has a ball, sign the ball.
Sign the ball.
You know, that's not going to hurt you.
Exactly.
You know, but that's what it's come down to nowadays.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. You know, and I remember the first autograph my son got was actually from Omar Vizquel, was really? Cleveland shortstop, and we were at the game or whatever, and he came over and he just, you know, happened to get a foul ball there, and he said, "Do you have a pen?" I said, "Yeah." He signed the ball for him, and you know, handed it to him, and it just, you see the smile on a kid's face. It's like, you know how that goes, and it's just one of those things that you say, wow, you know, it makes an impression for a kid, or you know, and then, you know, saying that. Did you have any heroes growing up as far as boxers? I know your dad's a big hero of yours. And
oh, my father. Can't go any farther than him. But I mean, I had the privilege of meeting pretty much everybody in the fight game.
Yeah.
From Sandy Sadler, from Willie Pep, to the greatest Muhammad Ali. The only one I didn't get to meet was Rocky Marciano. He's about the only one Of course, he was gone by then, but I would have loved to have met him. But,
he was.
You know, Marvin Hagler was an idol of mine because he was a southpaw like myself, and I used to train at the Petronelli's gym in Boston, or in Brockton, excuse me. And he came in one night, and I was I just got done sparring, and he stood there and watched me spar. Then he got in the ring with me.
Really?
Just to show me a couple of things that I was, you know, he would have liked to see me do. And that was probably the first time I was like, oh my God, I'm in the ring with this guy. Just
got a little starstruck,
Marvin, yeah, and I don't usually get starstruck, but when he got in the ring, it was it's a whole other world. And then this guy climbs in, who's a legend.
Right.
And I was like, you know, who's better than me right now?
Yeah.
So, and I don't care, all you Sugar Ray Leonard fans. You didn't beat
Hagler. Won that fight.
Yeah, Hagler won.
I was
believe that.
Hagler was one of my favorite fighters as well, and you know, I just thought he had wars in the ring. And
every time he fought, he used to wear a hat before every fight that said war, because that was it. You were going in for war.
Yeah, and he.
Nowadays it's a show. We're going in for the show.
Yeah, or the money. And, you know, that's what they're fighting for. But I loved how he just left boxing because he got so hurt by
after that decision. Yeah, he said he would never fight again, and he didn't. Yeah. And he stuck by it.
Yeah, but
he did all right as a movie star in Italy. So
yeah, he did all right over there, and he did the right guard commercials for a little while too. Yeah, he did some commercials.
He put the right people around him. Goody and Pat Petronelli put the right money guys behind him, and they moved his money right. And you know, he didn't go to the bank one day and have it empty.
Yeah.
He went to the bank and it was all still there. So
like Tyson.
Yeah, well, Tyson didn't know, and I felt bad for Mike Tyson. I mean, I used to room down the hall from Mike Tyson, and he was he had his own issues, and he didn't know anything. So, unfortunately, he went with the wrong group, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So, but he seems to have his life back on track now, and he's doing pretty good.
Big George has the Foreman Grill, so he did all right for himself after.
Foreman made the biggest comeback in history, money-wise,
Michael Moore,
too.
yeah, he took out Michael Moore at, I think was he 48 or he was almost 50, right?
He's close to it, yeah. And he then he got the George Foreman Grill, and then the rest is history. He's just making money.
He's just making money from here on there. So.
Good for him.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite announcers, too. I like big old George.
He's always happy.
Yeah, he's always got that big smile on.
Yeah, that's a preacher man for you, so he's happy.
All his sons are named George, so
yeah.
it makes it easy on him. He doesn't, George 1, George 2, and I don't know how many, 5
George
or
15,
something.
Yeah, I don't know where we're at.
So he's up there. But that's been, the fight game, like I said, it's one of those things that I enjoy going to see. When it's on, you see a good fight going on between two guys. It's always one of those things that just stop and says stop the channel surfing and you watch the fight.
You sit down and watch it, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it's good to see an up and coming guy and you say, wow, this kid's got something. That Irish kid out of he's from Ireland. Is it John Duddy?
Well, Duddy, he's retired out of it.
Yeah, he's retired now.
But he took some punishment. By Yori Boy Campos. Oof, he put a beating on him.
Yeah.
And he never recovered from it.
Yeah.
And I think he fought one or two more times after that, and I think they shut it down on him. But yeah. But there's some good up and comers now. There's even a heavyweight. I mean, you got the Klitschko's reigning the European side of it now because they took the heavyweight titles and it's all in Europe now.
Right.
But there's a heavyweight out of California named Gerald Washington.
Yep.
I think he's 6'8". He played for LSU football.
Okay.
He's a total package. He's trained by a guy named John Pullman. He's from Wallingford, John Pullman, and he went out to California. And this guy walked into his gym, and he is the total package, this kid. Gerald Washington, remember that name.
Okay.
He could be the next heavyweight champion of the world. Actually, he's fighting Friday night. I want to say he's in California somewhere fighting Friday night. And I'm not sure if it's on TV, but I'll have to look that up. But just remember that name, Gerald Washington.
Yeah, I will. That would be pretty good. See somebody.
Yeah, they came over the winter. They came and they were at my gym for I think 2 weeks. They used the gym. Of course, they came at the coldest time of the year. It was freezing. But they come from California. It's really cold. Yeah, it's like Alaska cold. But yeah, no, it was it was great to have those guys, and they're friends of Malone's gym, and I'll support them as long as they're in the game. So
that's awesome, as you always do. Now, a couple of years ago, again, when we were talking about the fight, now a couple guys called you out.
Yeah.
They called you, wanted to see you back in the ring.
Was it a couple years? I mean, about a couple years ago. Yeah. They wanted to, and I was all for it. I'd send the paperwork, but they didn't want to pay the money that I wanted. So,
right. But that still has to, that you can have so much respect, by other fighters that they still want to see you in the ring. That's got to mean something to you at least.
Well, they knew it was going to be a show at I think it was the Mohegan Sun, and we were it was going to be me and Peter Manfredo out of Rhode Island. We were going to fight back and forth on who was going to be the main event, either my fight or his fight, but I probably would have let him because he's the young kid. I would have taken a co-feature. I don't care. Right. But, we would have sold that place out, and it just, when it came down to the money,
they just didn't want to give it
they wanted this, and I said I wouldn't even tie my laces for that. Yeah. So, I was older. I'm older now, so if they wanted to do it 2 years ago, you had to make it worth my while.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would have knocked him out anyway. We don't need to. We don't need to bring any names up.
Nah, we know that you would have done it. You would have made Wallingford proud again. So we would have seen you in the paper again, knocking someone out. But that would have been something, you know.
Yeah, I was
at the
into
time
it.
you're training, but you're also, you know, you're training a fighter, and then you're also, you know, would have to come out and fight again, and that would have been something. That really would have been nice for Wallingford, you know, see that happen again. But that's pretty. I couldn't believe that story when he told me. I was like, this guy got a little George Foreman right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have.
Well, I keep myself in pretty decent shape, but once that came out, I started training normal, like I was gonna fight again.
Right.
Because you know, before you know it, a fight is on top of you. So yeah, so I started training, and then once it started the negotiation back and forth, and I knew it was so separated. I knew it wasn't going to happen. So
yeah.
But you know, I was hoping they would shop it around, and which they did. But and they knew, that's the thing. But of course, they tried to lowball it, and I wouldn't bite on it. So
yeah, no, that's the
name of the game.
That's the name of the game. Is right. You know, you want yeah, like you say, you got to get paid for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even lace your boots.
Gotta lay my head on something.
Now, how was your family? Were they backing you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, my mother and father were very instrumental in everything I did. They backed me on everything I did in sports, and I'm forever grateful for that. And I mean, a mother and father that would build a boxing ring, gym next to their house for me to train in.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do something is, you know.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah,
it really
it's
does.
just, you know, I couldn't even tell you how grateful I am for them and for what they did for me.
How was your dad in the corner? And I don't mean to, you know, bring up, you know, how was it? Because I know it's emotional for you and everything.
No, my father was an icebreaker to me in the corner. He he used to break my chops.
Yeah.
And no matter how loud an arena was, whether there was 2,000 people or 10,000 people sitting in a room watching my fight, the only guy I heard was him. His voice would just carry the whole room.
Right.
And whether he'd say, "What are you doing? You know, what are you doing? Are we going to dance all night, or are we here to fight?"
Right.
And he would just say it just like that.
And
I would hear it just like that. Like it was like me sitting here talking to you. Meanwhile, there's people screaming, you know, do this, do that. And he's like, what are we doing here? And it was like he was right behind me.
Yeah, it's like you had blinders on and you didn't see anything else but him.
And then I would go into the corner and he'd go, you want water? And I'd go, yeah, give me some water. And he would squirt it in my ear. Or, you know, he'd miss me. I'd go and he'd shoot the water somewhere else. Or he would shoot it in his mouth and he'd break my chops. But, yeah, he was very unique, and I miss my father every day.
Yeah,
it's tough.
He was a great man. Like I said, he was one of a kind. They broke the mold when they. Yeah, absolutely.
Not too many of them left.
No, and that's what I liked about him, because he was straightforward. He would, whatever he said was going to happen. You know, he was going to do it. You know, no matter what, he told me. He's like, yeah. Like I said, when I went down and trained with them, I remember showing up the next day, and he goes, "I did tell you to come down here today." He goes, "Yep," and he goes, "Get your gloves on." You know, took me in there, and he was, you know, working out with me, and you know, it's like I said, it's one of those things, and it was fun to get in the ring, you know, that you were in, and you know, see you beforehand, either sparring someone or, you know, going down and watching you. It was always something, and seeing you take the torch and doing well with it, you know, it's always a good thing to see that too. So.
Well, I'm not putting it out there on a regular. Like my gym is so small. I don't take any money from nobody.
Right.
I don't, even if he's the pro that I have, I don't take any money from him. I've already been down that road. I know the road, how it is at the beginning all the way to the top of the chain.
Right.
And, you know, my father never took a dime from anybody, and I'll just follow that along. And of course, if somebody's making $30 million,
yeah, you want your little,
you know,
piece
there's
of pie.
no need to give no need to give it to the tax man. You can give that to me. It's fine. But other than that, you know, just to have the experiences that I had that my father gave me, whether it was starting from day one as an amateur to being a professional fighter, with sitting in London, England, at the Royal Albert Hall with my father, who, we're a block away from one of the from the castles where the king and queen live, and we're staying in this hotel. To, one time he said to me, "I want you to, you're going to go to Brockton and train. We're not getting an apartment for you to stay in. You're going to go to the Y, and you're going to live in the Y." He wanted me to see it from the bottom of the barrel to the top of the chain.
Right.
And I lived every ounce of it. And let me tell you, being at the YMCA, living in a room with just a bed and a no TV, no nothing, coming in from the gym is an experience all on its own.
I can imagine.
But
yeah,
if I wanted to do it, that's what I had to do.
Right.
So, and that's what I did.
And you wouldn't change any of it?
I wouldn't change any of it, because the experiences that I've had is, of course everybody nowadays just wants to be, let's go here. We don't need to go to the small. Why go here? Let's go big time.
Yeah. Right out of the gates.
Yeah. Right out of the gate. You got to earn your stripes. And a lot of these guys now that come into the game, they want top dollar. To get to the top dollar, you got to earn it.
Right.
So.
And I think you even see that in football, because J.J. Watts came out today and he said, "Why am I making less than this guy that you just signed that hasn't done it? You've been riding my back for the last 3 years."
I mean, see, that's, you shouldn't have rabbit ears in the sporting game.
No.
Whatever that guy's making, good for him.
Right.
He's got to prove himself, and this new guy, if he's making more, you still got to prove yourself.
Exactly.
And if your worth is good, then you'll keep getting. But if it's not, then there's a reason why.
Yeah. I always thought that they should do incentive-based contracts. And
I
know they
absolutely.
do to a certain degree, but it's not this, they're going to give you...
Contracts today are so through the roof. It's, guys don't, they make so much money right off the top with their signing bonuses. They don't even want to, they don't want
lose
to
their hunger.
they lose it right away.
Yeah. No, that's
They're worrying
exactly.
about where we're going after the game, who we're going to meet up with. And,
Jay-Z concert or something like that.
Yeah, but Jay-Z started at the bottom of the line.
They all do. Yeah, most of them. I mean, there's not too many that are...
And he's at the top of the chain. He marketed himself perfectly.
Right.
But he started in the ghetto and worked his way right up into the top of the game.
Yeah.
So, guys like that I have respect for.
But it's
good.
Yeah.
Mayweather lived in a house with no hot water.
Yep.
And there was, I think, 8 or 10 of them living in a 2-room apartment, 3-room apartment. 10 of them.
Yeah.
No hot water. No heat.
Yeah.
They made it, and look at him. Now he's living in Vegas. I think he owns half of Vegas now.
Yeah.
But good for him.
No, exactly. And I think that's where, I think nowadays, when you look into, everybody kind of wants this entitlement. And it's really earn it, and I think that's what I always, enjoyed about your gym, because it was always earn it. Never. That's right. Never go out there, never say, hey, you're entitled to this. No, you got to earn what you're getting. So that's exactly. But
yeah, there's no pity pat. Oh, we'll get him next time. No, listen, you're not coming here to waste my time, and you're not going to come here to waste your time.
Right.
So, and if I feel like you're wasting my time, then I'll just say this is not for you. Yeah, we'll shut it down. So, and that's how it is. That's how it should be. It's black and white. You're either in or you're out.
Right.
Don't waste my time and your time. So
that's what. So coming up, he's going to have some shows coming up. He's got a fighter in September 30th. Was
September 20th at Foxwoods Resort Casino.
And Sean will be there, and he'll be training his guy, and hopefully some Wallingford guys can get out there and root him on and support somebody from Wallingford locally, and hopefully we can get you to start getting some of these venues in Wallingford.
We'll see what we could do.
Hopefully the rec center lets you get in there, or maybe Sheehan High School, because that would be nice to get some fights there.
I fought there as an amateur too, Sheehan High School. So hey, we'll see what we could do with the town. Maybe get some amateur fights in town and get these guys seen around.
Yeah. You get boxing really back on the map again, you know, kind of back when it was the 80s when people were like excited to see the fights, or
That's right.
you know, whether it be Hagler or Sugar Ray, everybody wanted to watch those fights. I think, you know, it's kind of like you say, it's like the big time fight nowadays, and everybody wants to watch. But hopefully, you'll watch some of these younger guys fulfill some dreams in that. But again, running out of time tonight. But again, we'd like to thank Sean Malone again for coming in. He's a stand-up guy, and he's one of these Wallingford guys that made it well. You know, did something good, and continues to do something great. So
Try.
Tell everybody in the family we said hello.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks again for night at the take, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.